It was a quiet morning at the Shelby County Courthouse in Alabama, the kind of day where the usual hum of legal proceedings echoed through the halls. Judges prepared for hearings, lawyers paced with case files, and court clerks clicked away at their keyboards. Then, everything changed. Around 8 a.m., a young couple walked into the courthouse carrying a small baby boy, just a few months old. Without much conversation, they approached a security officer and calmly placed the infant, wrapped in a blanket, into his arms. "We can't do this anymore," the father allegedly said. They were going to take him away anyway, and then, without another word, they turned around and walked out. Security guards were stunned. The officer, caught off guard by the unexpected handoff, rushed the baby to courthouse officials. Authorities quickly contacted the Department of Human Resources and the sheriff's office. Within minutes, the child was safe, but questions began swirling. Who were these parents? Why had they abandoned their baby at a courthouse? And what exactly did the father mean by, "they were going to take him anyway"? As deputies searched the area and reviewed surveillance footage, law enforcement quickly identified the couple and took them into custody. The man and woman, later revealed to be in their early 20s, were both from Shelby County. Officials say they had been under investigation by Child Protective Services prior to this dramatic event. The baby, remarkably healthy and showing no signs of distress or injury, was taken into protective custody. But the incident left a community stunned and sparked a much larger conversation about parental desperation, the child welfare system, and how some families reach a breaking point. As investigators dug deeper into the young couple's background, a troubling picture began to emerge. Social workers revealed that the family had been on their radar for several months. Reports of neglect, inconsistent housing, and erratic behavior had been filed by concerned neighbors and even extended family members. The Department of Human Resources had opened a case, but no formal removal order had yet been issued. Yet, in the parents' minds, it was only a matter of time. According to court documents, the child's father had grown increasingly paranoid in the weeks leading up to the courthouse incident. Friends told local media that he often spoke about government plots and believed the system was out to tear their family apart. The mother, described as quiet and emotionally fragile, appeared overwhelmed and withdrawn during interviews. But what drove them to abandon their baby in a public institution? Law enforcement believes the decision was both impulsive and symbolic. Rather than waiting for authorities to intervene, they took matters into their own hands, leaving the child in the heart of the justice system, where they assumed he would be immediately protected. "There's a deep psychological element to this case," said Sheriff John Samaniego in a press conference. "It's not just about abandonment. It's about fear, pressure, and a lack of resources. But make no mistake, what happened here is a criminal act." The couple now faces charges of reckless endangerment and child abandonment. They remain in custody as they await formal arraignment, while a court-appointed guardian has been assigned to care for the child. Mental health evaluations are also underway to assess whether the parents are fit to stand trial or even understand the severity of what they've done. Meanwhile, the baby, whose name has not been publicly released, is being cared for by a licensed foster family. Social workers describe him as a bright, alert little boy who is adjusting well and receiving proper medical attention. But the incident has ignited a firestorm online. Some viewers express anger and disgust toward the parents. Others offer sympathy, pointing to the harsh realities facing young, unsupported families. Local advocacy groups have called for renewed investment in parental mental health services, crisis shelters, and community-based interventions that might prevent similar tragedies. "It shouldn't come to this," one child advocate told reporters. "No parent should feel that their only option is to walk into a courthouse and give up their child." In the days following the incident, the courthouse where the baby was abandoned became the center of a community conversation. Not just about what happened, but why it happened. For many, the situation served as a tragic reminder of how easily families can fall through the cracks when support systems fail or go underutilized. At a town hall meeting in Tuscaloosa, local officials addressed a crowd of concerned citizens, social workers, and mental health advocates. "This is a wake-up call," said one councilwoman. We must ensure that families in crisis have real options, not just threats or consequences. Court records indicate the parents had no prior criminal history. Both were in their early 20s, unemployed, and living with friends off and on. Their interactions with Child Protective Services had escalated, but there had been no official move to remove the baby from their custody before the incident. That detail continues to raise questions about what kind of communication occurred between the family and authorities, and whether more proactive intervention could have changed the outcome. Meanwhile, the child's case has been moved to family court. A judge will determine whether the parents will retain any future rights or visitation privileges. Until then, they remain behind bars, each facing multiple charges. Legal analysts speculate that the defense may pursue a diminished responsibility plea, citing emotional distress and untreated psychological disorders as contributing factors. The story has also captured national attention, with news outlets across the country covering the bizarre and heartbreaking case. Social media has been flooded with reactions, ranging from harsh condemnation to deep empathy. Hashtags like #JusticeForTheBaby and #FamilyInCrisis began trending regionally, as debates swirled over who was truly to blame. But beyond the headlines, the child's future now lies in the hands of strangers. Foster care workers say he's adjusting as well as can be expected. He smiles easily, one said. He's too young to understand what's happened, but we can already see he's a fighter. Psychologists warn, however, that the emotional scars of abandonment can emerge later in life. Early trauma, even if not consciously remembered, can affect a child's development in subtle but powerful ways. Experts stress the need for long-term counseling and a stable home environment. In response to the public outcry, Alabama's Department of Human Resources announced a full internal review of the case, vowing to evaluate whether proper protocols were followed and what could have been done differently. As the court process unfolds, one thing remains clear. This story is far from over. It's a cautionary tale, one rooted in fear, desperation, and broken systems, and it forces a sobering question. How many other families are one step away from doing the same?